Good afternoon, and welcome to Wizards World. My name is Jim Redondi, and today we have an array of speakers to talk about the Big Island of Hawaii. We will hear from Janet Yakub of Pleasant Holidays and Journeys, Libby Child from Prince Resorts, Diener Snively from the Marriott Waikoloa, Heather Rapinski from the Mauna Lani, and Diener Isbister from the Big Islands Visitor Bureau. As a reminder, we would appreciate it if you would mute yourself so there is no background noise during the presentation. And if you have any questions, please use the chat box and we will get to the questions at the end. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the presentation. Take it away, Janet.
Thank you, Jim. Let me just set up my presentation real quick for you all. You can see it here. Hope you can see it all on the screen. Aloha, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the first in a series of webinars highlighting the beautiful Hawaiian Islands. Let me first start by talking a little bit about who and what Journeys is. Most likely you've all heard of our parent company, Pleasant Holidays, started selling Hawaii back in 1959 and eventually expanded to other destinations around the world. Another company called Hawaii World, just as the name suggests, was solely committed to offering the destination of Hawaii to travel counselors, beginning operating in 1977. Now, frankly, they were a direct competitor to Pleasant Holidays. So, as the saying goes, if you can't beat them, buy them. So that's exactly what Pleasant Holidays did. They purchased Hawaii World, and then we rebranded it into this company called Journeys. It's a luxury division, specifically providing services to the travel agent community. So the Journeys brand, as I mentioned, is only available through travel counselors. And so you wonder, I'm sure, why would Travel Wizards recommend booking a Journeys package? The main reason is really we do have some unique features and services, such as our expert specialists for your travel counselor to work with as they construct the perfect itinerary just for you. Along with that, we have some great technology tools and resources that allow them to have access to a wealth of information that they can tap into at any time, 24 hours a day. We negotiate with only 4- and 5-star resorts, and we assure you get the best value and sometimes even extra amenities at those properties. We provide a cancel for any reason travel protection plan at an affordable rate, and I'm going to go into some of the details about that a little later. And then, of course, there's me. I'm the company representative, so they always have a real person that they can contact on your behalf. Now, our destination portfolio includes some of the most desirable vacation destinations in the world. So as you can start to dream about checking off on your bucket list the chance to personally experience some of these amazing destinations, we've already done the legwork. We've gone out and secured all the components for your trip of a lifetime. Now, our brochures are a great way for you to review the destinations themselves, the accommodation choices, the potential activities to enjoy. We even include some suggested itineraries to help you plan. And these brochures are actually online, so you can review them in the comfort of your own home. Again, you can see this slide just shows you a few of the tabs. And if you want a specific brochure, you may be able to order that from your Travel Wizards travel professional, and they can send it or provide it to you at home. Now, because of the changes in protocols and to frankly travel everywhere because of the pandemic, we created a traveler support page on our website, which is journeys.com. It's not only to help our travel professionals, but it's also to help you. So it is available for you to peruse. Now, this section of our website highlights the different categories, including the health and safety protocols, COVID-19 testing resources, et cetera. And I believe Deanna is going to cover some of the specific protocols for entering into Hawaii Island. But you can always go to this website and to this particular section if you want to review what she covered, or if you want to look at other destinations and what their protocols are as well. Now, the Hawaiian Islands, our product offering really does encompass everything you need to put together the best trip to Hawaii. We have accommodations at the best rates, and in many cases, I mentioned before, some added amenities, sometimes at no cost at all. your choice of airline, and of course, airline class of service. So I don't know about the rest of you, but we've waited long enough. I think it's time for this trip to upgrade to first class. Just putting that out there to keep that in mind. Of course, when you get there, you're going to have transfers, car rentals, all of that's going to be available, and the ability to pre-book activities, which I strongly recommend so that you have the anticipation of thinking about what you're going to do when you get to your trip. So now I'm going to do a basic little broad overview of Hawaii, and then we're going to bring it into focus for Hawaii Island. So these are just some good to know basics. You know, there's 8 main islands, 6 of which are open to travelers. Travel, of course, between the islands is going to be by air, unless you're on a cruise. Currently, it's 2 hours earlier in Hawaii than it is right here in our hometown of California, home state. And the Hawaiian Islands themselves, I love this. Keep in mind, the near shore water temperatures remain comfortable year round. Look at that, 74 degrees. I mean, that sounds fabulous right now. So since we're talking about degrees, this slide just highlights, you know, those warm temperatures are year round. Summer, fall, you're looking at an average temperature of 85 degrees. Winter and spring, average temperature 78. I think we have a couple people that are actually sitting in this beautiful destination right now. They'll talk about what the weather's like, but I looked it up because I was so jealous, and I think that today it's supposed to be 72 degrees, mostly sunny. I'd take that any day. That sounds fantastic. Now, the Hawaii Island, of course, is the youngest and largest island in the Hawaiian chain, nearly twice as big as all the other Hawaiian islands combined, hence the nickname Big Island. I'm going to share a quick story right now of one of my trips to Hawaii Island. So as I'm on the plane and as we're approaching the Kona airport, I'm sitting next to a young woman and she's peering out the window as we're approaching the Kona airport. And she starts to shake her head and starts to mumble, "Oh no, oh no." And I asked her, I said, "What's wrong?" And she said, "Oh my gosh, I think I've made a terrible mistake." And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" And she said, this is my first trip to Hawaii, and I was imagining this tropical paradise. And all she could see was this lava flow area right outside the Kona airport. And if you make brownies, I call it the big brownie top. It's basically when you take the brownies out of the oven and all you see is this crinkly brown top. That's what that lava that's dried looks like. And she was panicking. She thought the whole island was going to look like that. And I assured her, I said, no. You picked the right island because this island has everything. It has this unique lava flow topography, but it also has beautiful waterfalls and tropicals, mountains, everything you can think of. I think I even heard today from some of the people that are there, snow at the top of the mountains. It's an extraordinary destination. So speaking about arriving by air, there's going to be 2 main airports that you're going to consider to arrive at when you arrive on the island of Hawaii. 95% are going to be showing up at the Kona airport. There's also the Hilo airport on the other side. Just to give you an idea of the destination, how big this area really is, you've got a drive time, excuse me, just a moment, here we go. From the Kona airport to most of the resort areas where you're going to be staying is between 15 and 30 minutes. There's a 4-hour drive time between Kona and Hilo. So that gives you a little bit better clue, I think, as to the destination and how wide this island is. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about 3 specific areas that you might be staying. So the first one is Kailua Kona. This is a beautiful little town separated with a Li'i Drive down the main road for the shops and restaurants. Mostly you'll find man-made beaches and cliff walls. When you choose accommodations in this area, you're going to have the best oceanfront accommodations you can find. I mean, it's literally going to be right on the water. You've got these amazing cliffs that the resorts are built right up to. It's of course close to big game fishing, the coffee plantations, home to the annual Ironman triathlon. I call that no body fat weekend. So if you're a health nut, or if you're ready to go see all these amazing athletes, that may be something that you want to enjoy. The next area is the Waikoloa and Kohala Coast. My favorite, frankly, you're going to find world-class accommodations, fine dining, some of the Hawaii's best golf courses. My favorite beach, Hakuna Beach State Park. And it's also got the largest restored heiau in Hawaii in that vicinity. That's a sacred temple. So it's some really great places to stay and enjoy when you're in the Waikoloa or the Kahala Coast area. And then lastly, I'll just highlight Hilo. I think Diener, who's going to speak later, this is his hometown, so he knows it better than most. But there's some great amenities and ways to enjoy this area. Most of you will see this going to the #1 vacation attraction there in Hawaii, which is Volcanoes National Park. And I'm sure Deanna's going to touch on that a little bit as well. So lastly, talking about the islands, I just, it's real easy to enjoy this destination, Hawaii Island, and think of it as the big island, in my opinion, because it's so expansive. You've got a lot of room to enjoy, all the great cultural aspects, fine dining, a beach that's so wide, you'll be able to be by yourselves in your own little neck of the woods there. It's a great destination. So once you're ready, right, to move forward, you're ready to start planning your vacation, we know it's important to provide some assurance during these unsure times when you're trying to commit to travel. So we're going to talk a little bit about protection plans. That's the assurance I'm talking about, the ability to cancel if you decide you just don't want to go. Now at Journeys, we offer travel protection plans for as little as $99 per person to allow for a future travel credit if you decide you don't want to go. We also have a full cashback option, which covers not only COVID-19, but COVID, whatever the UK strain is, or whatever we're worried about, or God forbid, what else is around the corner, right? The truth is we really have no way of knowing why you might want to cancel your trip or why you might not be able to go. So if you purchase one of these programs, one of these plans, and decide you don't want to travel, you simply just call the Travel Wizards travel professional that booked it for you. Tell them you can't go. You don't even have to tell them why. They contact us, and we will either receive, we'll make sure that you receive the full value of your trip minus the travel protection plan premium in either a future travel credit, or if you purchase the cash back for any reason option, all that money back to the original form of payment. So it's really a great protection plan for you, but it still allows you to dream and plan and anticipate a terrific trip. Now, one last comforting thought, since 2005, Pleasant Holidays, our parent company, has been a proud member of the United States Tour Operators Association, or the USTOA. It's a $1 million traveler's assistance program, and basically it protects your vacation value. Now more than ever, it's real important to know someone is there for you for your bookings. So thank you for this time. I'm going to turn it over to Libby Child from Prince Resorts. So I will stop my share program here, and Libby, let you take it away.
Thank you so much, Janet. Okay, let's see if I can get mine up and rolling here. Okay, here we are. And we're off. Can everyone see my screen there? Okay, wonderful. Well, aloha Travel Wizards. Yes, my name is Libby Child. I'm so happy to be joining you today. I am located, as Janet was mentioning, on the beautiful Big Island of Hawaii. So yes, I can confirm there is snow on beautiful Mauna Kea Mountain. The volcano is producing lava right now. It's the absolute most wonderful time to go and see it and experience something so magical and powerful. But I will be representing on the Big Island today, Mauna Kea Beach Hotel and the Westin Hapuna Beach Resort. As Janet so wonderfully kind of described, she gave an overview of the Big Island. Our properties are located 30 minutes north of Kailua Kona International Airport, as Janet kind of pointed out, on the Kohala coastline. So starting it off, I want to jump right into it with the beautiful Mauna Kea Beach Hotel. Ensemble amenities for the Travel Wizards agents. Of course, this is so important. They're completely covered when booking any of our properties. Breakfast for 2 daily is included, resort credit of $100 per stay for standard rooms and or a $200 per stay for suites, upgrade upon availability, complimentary Wi-Fi, and one of the most favorite amenities offered at the Mauna Kea Beach Hotel is that there's no mandatory resort fee. So essentially, Ensemble takes care of everything for you folks, for your clients. I am a bit of a history buff. I absolutely geek out over the history at Mauna Kea Beach Hotel. I think it's so cool. It's so fascinating that a lava field got turned into what is now a world-class resort like Mauna Kea Resort. So I just want to briefly mention a little bit about the history with Mauna Kea. It was built in the 1960s by a legendary venture capitalist, Mr. Lawrence Rockefeller. He was invited to the island right after Hawaii became a state in 1960 to kind of scout locations via helicopter to provide jobs for the Hawaiian people. He did just that. He scouted all the locations on Hawaii Island. He saw beautiful Kanaoa Bay, the beach that Mauna Kea Beach Hotel does sit on, and asked to go for a swim. After that life-changing swim, he said, "This is it. This is where I want to build the resort," and he did so. He gave us Mauna Kea Resort now, and it's really exactly like nothing else is how we would explain it. Between all of the different 1,000+ pieces of art collection and artifacts from Mr. Rockefeller's personal collection, and throughout Asian and Polynesian artifacts that he brought in, of course, with the mid-century design and the architecture, and just the history behind the hotel, it's really unique. Being that it was built in 1960, of course, I love this quote, "We know traditions, we've been inspiring them for generations," and it's true. Over the last 50+ years, time and time again, we've just encouraged generationally driven travel for honeymoons, family gatherings, anniversaries. Oh, our average clientele, 60% of that is repeat, which is a huge repeat number. It's what has really truthfully kind of helped us survive during this time too, is we have so many repeat guests coming back to the Mauna Kea to check on all of us and check on the Mauna Kea Ohana, and it feels like they're coming home to their second home, of course, at Mauna Kea Beach Hotel. Our average length stay pre-COVID was 7 nights. So we were very proud of that. That's a very long average length stay. But now post-COVID, we are seeing an average length stay at Mauna Kea Beach Hotel of 14 nights, which is just so remarkable to me. People are working from the hotels, kids can go to school online now. So of course, with that long length of stay, there's tons to do on the Big Island itself, but we have to, of course, be able to offer a plethora of things to do on property, which we're really, really good at doing. Between Mauna Kea Beach Hotel and the Westin Hapuna, we have 36 holes of championship golf, 2 18-hole golf courses. We have 11 seaside tennis courts, including pickleball courts. You saw the beach, you know the beach. It's extremely popular, that beautiful white sand beach at Kanaoa Bay. So of course, with a beach like that and that legendary, we need to have every single beach activity that people can think of via our beach club at the hotel as well. Cultural activities are extremely important to us. We have Aloha ambassadors on staff. I mentioned the art collection. We do offer art tours every Saturday at 10 a.m., where we have a historian that leads guests through the hotel to point out different artifacts, the history behind each. And we also, of course, have a keiki club. 2 of the favorite activities on property that I like to highlight, yes, that is myself participating in both of them, is the Mauna Kea Resorts Be Mauna Kea Bee experience. We do have a rather large beehive, bee sanctuary at the resort, where we do accumulate a lot of honey, which then of course goes into many different dishes on property, including like one you wouldn't really think of that I was surprised by is I love the flatbread pizzas at Copper Bar. And those are infused with honey from our beehives, which are very, very popular. But guests have the opportunity to kind of dress up and go out in small tours in their bee costumes, their beehives, whatever they're called, suits, and kind of search for the queen bee, and then go back to the hotel, meet with chef to try a 3-course tasting menu infused with honey, as well as different cocktails and non-alcoholic drinks infused with honey. So that's a very unique experience. My ultimate favorite activity at the Mauna Kea Beach Hotel is the manta snorkel. The manta rays have been coming into our bay nightly for years. They love the beach as much as all of us do. We illuminate the water at Manta Point, right below Manta Restaurant. The mantas then, of course, are attracted to the light, attracted to the plankton. They feed in that area. We have 2 marine biologists on staff that take guests out from the beach. They just walk right into the water in about 5 feet of water to swim and explore the manta rays. So it's a very educational, safe tour that families really, really love. Me and my father did it there in that bottom right picture, but those are my 2 most favorite activities on property. When you break down the rooms, this is where things can, of course, get a little tricky, but this is why I'm here to help. It really comes down to your client's interest in staying in what we call the main tower or the beachfront tower. Main tower is to the left of this picture here, and the beachfront tower is to the right. The beachfront tower houses floors 1 through 4. It offers the closest proximity to the beach. You walk right across that green lawn there. It's the most popular for families due to the proximity to the water, of course, and all the activities, as well as the amount of connecting room options. There's a lot in that tower. Or you can go to the main tower, which houses floors 5 through 8, and it offers completely unobstructed panoramic views of the bay. So it's absolutely stunning. These are room examples. The top picture here is an example of our main tower oceanfront room. And below it is a beachfront room. So it kind of gives you the difference in the vibes and the decor. I included this next, oops, excuse me. Let me go back here. Oh, I went away, I apologize. So this next slide really kind of depicts the proximity of the 2 hotels to each other. So Mauna Kea Beach Hotel is on the left with a beautiful white sand beach. And not many people know that Westin Hapuna doesn't sit at the same beach as Mauna Kea. It's actually 2 separate white sand beaches. So between the 1,800 acres of land, there's so much to explore, so much kind of, bike paths, running paths. It's only a half a mile along the coastline between the 2 properties, which is another excellent opportunity for a hike. You can start at Mauna Kea, go to Westin Hapuna, half mile hike over, have a drink at the pool bar, and then hike on back. It's highly recommended. But of course, these 2 properties combined, we refer to as Mauna Kea Resort. So the concept is stay at one, play it all. There are reciprocal signing privileges between the 2 properties with a dining shuttle that takes guests back and forth between the 2. Now jumping into the beautiful Westin Hapuna Beach Resort, which was fully renovated in 2018. The ensemble amenities that are offered here, similar to Mauna Kea: breakfast for 2 daily, resort credit of $50 per room per stay, or $100 for our suite options. There is an upgrade upon availability as well. As I mentioned, with the renovation, became a full rebranding to the Westin name. We are the only Westin on the island of Hawaii. The renovation also brought to us a brand new adults-only Infinity Edge pool, which then cascades down to the family pool, very large Olympic-sized family pool, which of course then leads you straight out to Hapuna Beach. As Janet mentioned, her favorite beach on island. It's stunning, it's so beautiful. It's about a mile long, beautiful, fluffy white sand. The renovation brought us a state-of-the-art workout facility as well. With all new locker room facilities, we have the Peloton bikes, we have a CrossFit studio within this area. So if for those clients who do need a workout, want to work out, this is absolutely the place to go. As I mentioned before, the reciprocal signing privileges between the 2 properties. That of course includes dining as well. There are 4 restaurants on property at Westin Hapuna, but if guests want to go next door to Mauna Kea, they can enjoy the 4 restaurants there as well. And they can get there via a complimentary dining shuttle. So guests can go back and forth and sign back to their respective rooms and enjoy each of the restaurants, as well as all the additional amenities. But one unique selling feature about the Westin Hapuna is every single room faces the ocean. You never have to worry about a poor view at the Westin Hapuna. Everything is overlooking beautiful Hapuna Beach. So another unique selling feature is that our rooms are the largest on the coast, 360 square feet, and a guaranteed ocean view. You really can't go wrong. With the renovation, of course, the Westin Heavenly amenities are found throughout the room, including the bed and the different amenities. Out of the 249 rooms, there are 17 suites included as well. The renovation was absolutely stunning. I think they did a really, really nice job. The property itself is very comfortable, clean, everything is new. And that sums up the presentation on Mauna Kea Beach Hotel and the Westin Hapuna. Here is my information listed for you to contact me at any time. I do want to make a quick note that I will be going on maternity leave beginning March 1st, but my information listed here will prompt you to get in contact with my fill-in while I am out for a little while. So please continue to use this information, and I look forward to connecting with you, if not before I leave on maternity, when I do get back. So without any further ado, I want to introduce you to Mr. Diener Snively, who needs no introduction whatsoever. Diener, take it away, Mr. Marriott International. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Libby. Mahalo very much. Let me get this going first. Let me just get this on. Aloha, everyone. Like Libby said, I'm Diener with Marriott International Hawaii. I was actually born and raised in Hilo on the island of Hawaii, but now reside in California in San Francisco. So perhaps some of you on this Zoom call, we may be neighbors, you never know. But I'll be representing our Waikoloa Beach Marriott, located on the Kohala coast, like Libby's properties. I do want to mention, I did do the swim with the mantas at Mauna Kea Beach, and there's several options to do that on island. But doing it from Mauna Kea Beach was pretty incredible because, like she said, you literally walk from the beach right into the water, and then you start swimming around with those mantas. So it's pretty awe-inspiring to do. So a plug for them. So let's get started with my presentation. We are, like Libby said, located on the Kohala coast. We're about 25 minutes north from Keauholi Airport, which is the main airport in Kona that you would fly into. Many options for us in the Bay Area. So depending where you are within Northern California, right, you could fly either from Sacramento, San Jose, Oakland, or San Francisco. A lot of nonstops, but if not, it's a quick flight onto Oahu and then over to Kona Airport. Commitment to clean. Currently, obviously with COVID right now, we're all taking extra steps to really secure and make everything safe for all of you when you come and visit. So some of the highlights that we do obviously is signage throughout the property, reminding people to wear masks and social distance. Mask wearing is mandatory while you're out in the public areas. While you're lounging by the pool, it is not necessary, or while obviously you're in the pool, it is not necessary. But again, if you're walking through the lobby or in the hallways, you must wear a mask at all times. We do high cleaning or extra cleaning on high touch areas, such as the lobby, elevator banks. We have sanitizing stations throughout the resort. And like I said, masks must be worn by both guests and our employees for the safety of both. The hotel was renovated in early 2019, so she looks extremely nice right now. So we did a lot. There's two parts to this resort, just so you know, before I move forward. Part of the hotel was transformed into what we now have our vacation club or our timeshare, and half of the resort is truly resorts. So we kind of commingle. What's great about having our timeshare or vacation club a part of the resort is that a lot of the amenities that we have available to you as a guest really is paid for on the other side of the business. So you get to benefit from a lot of these things that we don't pass those costs down on to you. So it really is a great benefit. Like I said, the resort was renovated in early 2019. All the rooms were completely redone. We have about 314 suites. We went with a more modern, sleek beach tones of bringing the blues of the Pacific into the room. So again, I think we've done a really nice job. Just so you know, this resort was actually the first resort built in the Waikoloa area. So if you think of firsts, the Mauna Kea was the first on the Kohala coast, and then the Waikoloa Beach Marriott was the first in the Waikoloa area itself. So a lot of firsts going on. We do have 2 outlets for food right now during this COVID times. In the morning, we have Aka'ula Coffee Shop, which opens at 6:30, goes to about 11. It really is grab and go. And then for dinner or lunch to dinner, we have our Hawaii Calls restaurant, which is our main restaurant on the ground level. And then pool service operates from 11 to 5 p.m. And then we offer a sunset luau Mondays and Wednesday evenings. And that's a really great option because that is outdoors, obviously, and it's a great Polynesian show with our traditional Hawaiian foods and Hawaiian flair. So it really is a good option. If for some reason the times that are listed don't fit into your schedule, we're very fortunate to sit literally next door to the King Shops and the Queen's Marketplace, where you'll find shopping, a small grocery store, Roy's Yamaguchi restaurant, Macaroni Grill, etc. So again, dining options galore within walking distance. I would say if you wanted to give it a block of walking distance, that's really all it is. If you needed to drive, you could, but it really is a beautiful walk to the marketplace itself. We are very fortunate. So the Big Island is the smallest, or I'm not the smallest, it's the largest, hello. It's the youngest of all the Hawaiian Islands. So Mother Nature truly hasn't had her time to kind of take hold of the island. So with that said, I think there's a misnomer that people think we are just full of lava fields like the person Janet sat next to on the plane, but we're not. We have 11 of the 13 microclimates throughout the island. As a kid, my parents would take us up to Mauna Kea. We would snowboard with our boogie boards, fill the back of the truck up with snow, and then 2 hours later drive down, empty the back of the truck in our yard, let the neighborhood kids come and play in the snow, and then we'd all go to the beach. So we'd literally go from snow-capped mountains to sandy beaches. What we're fortunate about with this hotel, and like Mauna Kea, we have one of the three best sandy beaches, and our hotel sits at Ana'i Bay. So we're very fortunate. Also, there is some great history to where this resort sits. If you can kind of see between the ocean and the resort, there's like a pond. Those are ancient Hawaiian fish ponds that the Hawaiians use to cultivate fish during the season. So they would bring in the baby fish, cultivate them, let them release them, and they were doing sustainability fishing and land and all of that good stuff way before we all jumped on it. So, they were definitely much more advanced. But again, this is our pool deck area, 3 pools scattered throughout the resort. They're open to 11 p.m. It is saline-based water, so it's really good for your skin. We do have a more family-oriented pool, which is kind of off to the right, that has a small water slide for the kids to utilize as well. And like I said earlier, great dining options at the King Shops and the Queen's Marketplace. Obviously, championship golf courses galore, 2 really nearby the property itself. Like I said, the Sunset Luau, which is a really good option on Monday and Wednesday evenings. And then again, a lot of ocean activities. I mean, a really good benefit for Hawaii right now, or for all of us, is that with COVID, you really want to be more outdoors, right? I mean, the chances of catching COVID outdoors is much less than if you were indoors. So a trip to Hawaii is really one of the best options. The island of Hawaii, being the largest, has so much open space. And having said that, right from our beach, like I said, Ana'i Bay, you could do stand-up paddle boarding, a sunset sail, outrigger canoe paddling. So just a lot of things to do. Or if you wanted to get off property, to drive up to Waimea or Kamuela, which is our cowboy country, or take a drive to Hilo, where I'm from, which is a small town and is like being set back in a time warp. A lot has not changed in downtown Hilo, and people like to talk story. That's what we do in Hawaii. We talk story, where you pull over, you grab a cup of coffee, and the next thing you know, you're becoming best friends with the person having coffee with you. So really take the time to explore the island of Hawaii, because it does have a lot to offer. And then here's our aha moment, the beautiful Ana'i Bay, like I said. And then you can see to the left of the picture that's the ancient Hawaiian fish ponds that the Hawaiians utilized. Again, so some great history along that whole coastline. Price point wise, we will come in much lower than the Westin and the Mauna Kea. And we'll definitely come in much lower than our next guest. And I'll introduce Heather with the Mauna Lani and Auberge Resorts. Off to you, Heather.
Hello, everyone. Let me just share my screen here. Okay, sure. All right. Thank you very much. I'm very happy to join this group of Hawaii partners. And I myself am learning a lot about the Big Island, as I just started with the Mauna Lani Auberge Resorts in December. So I was lucky enough to go see Mauna Kea, meet Libby, and hopefully I get to meet everyone else very soon in person. But I'm based in Los Angeles, and of course we are ensemble partners. So we will offer all the amenities that if you book through your travel advisor. And we'll start from here. This is our hero shot of the Mauna Lani. Mauna Lani has been around for 37 years, but Auberge came in 2018 and 19 and did a $200 million renovation. So we have just elevated the experience to make it more luxury, and we reopened December 2019, and we were open for only about 3 months before the pandemic took place. So we had to close, and we reopened again in November, and now we're operating at more of a boutique level. So we're 333 rooms, with most of our rooms having an ocean view. We do have oceanfront rooms as well, but right now we are operating more at a boutique level of about 100 or so rooms. So very great for social distance. And as our colleagues mentioned, the Big Island is meant for social distancing naturally. And in the past year, we have received many accolades from our travel publications like Travel and Leisure, On the It List, Condé Nast, Departures Magazine, Architectural Digest. So hopefully that means we will have many visitors come this year, and hopefully a strong 2021 comeback. We are 25 minutes away from the Kona Airport, just north of the Kona Airport, probably about 10-15 minutes from south of Mauna Kea, to give you a reference point. And we have 5 private residences, 3 that are oceanfront, 2 ocean view, 2 18-hole golf courses, 6 tennis courts, and 5 food and beverage outlets, and of course our fitness center and spa. We have a lot of history, as my colleagues previously mentioned, on the island. So we have the House of Knowledge, and I'll go over that in later in the presentation, where we really bring to life the Indigenous living culture. And we have our celebrated dinner restaurant, Canoe House, which was open all through the pandemic and has been a very hot spot during all the time, but it's highly recommended to make a reservation. We have many locals visiting as well. This is our overview of the resort. It's a fun little map. So the main resort building is shaped like an arrowhead. So in the front you have the oceanfront rooms. To the left, we now call them the private residences. That's where it says the bungalows right now, where we have the 5 private residences. And to the right of the main building, that's where our whole Great Lawn is, which was the photo that we showed you from in the very beginning. And this is our halau, where it's the meeting point of the whole resort. And you walk down the stairs from reception, and you have behind you the fitness center, Goop, which I'll go over. And to the left is the whole Great Lawn, and we have the market nearby. And this is a great spot in our South Lanai to grab your Kona coffee from the market, your deli sandwich, pastry from our very highly talented pastry chef. And it's a nice indoor-outdoor feel. And we have just incorporated more of a contemporary design with the renovation, and we have some fresh textiles that are local, and a lot of local artists that come in. So it still embraces the Hawaiian culture in an understated luxury style. And here's an example of our newly renovated rooms, fresh, clean design. And we have lanais, our terraces, in every room. And we do have a few premium specialty suites. This is our Francis Brown suite and it's 4,000 square feet. It's a great hospitality suite option, full kitchen. It's 1 bedroom, so it's great for multi-generational families. If, for instance, like a grandparent wanted to have a central meeting location, this is a nice option. We have also done many client events, and like if there's a Super Bowl event or anything that you want to watch on television, like this is a great meeting spot. And as I mentioned earlier, we have 5 private residences. This we kept everything as is, just kind of touched everything up through the renovation, but we really didn't feel like it needed much work done, as it's it has like a nice restoration look of old Hawaii. And you have your private pool. It's 2 bedrooms. There are 2 master bedrooms with a king bed and 2 queens. Same layout for the bathrooms, deep soaking tubs, and outdoor shower. And you overlook either the ocean or the view of the ocean with the South Golf Course. You have a full kitchen. We do set up private barbecue dinners. Our chefs can come in, or we can outsource a private chef for your clients. And here's just another view of the private pool. You have your jacuzzi overlooking the ancient fish ponds. And with the renovation, we've expanded the lawns with fire pits, adding authentic textures into the design. And we are celebrating the decades of history and tradition at Canoe House. And we have our husband and wife duo, Chef Matt, who's the executive chef, and Yuka, who's a GM, who really create an extra sense of warmth when our guests come to arrive. And Chef Matt touches every table, and it's really one of the most incredible dining experiences that I think you'll find in all of Hawaii. Even my I'm based in Los Angeles, as I mentioned, and I'm sure if whoever's maybe based in NorCal, you have a lot of great food, but everyone who is used to dining at a high culinary standard is very impressed. So we're very proud to have that at the resort. And we also have our Ha Bar, which is now called the Ha Bar and Grill. They'll be serving all day through lunch into the evening, and it's next to our breakfast restaurant right now, Holani. We've just altered our hours a bit through COVID, and we're very lucky to pick up in the next month and continuing on, hopefully. So I think we'll have more hours open throughout each facility. And I mentioned the market earlier. We have our Kona coffee. We have some yummy local snacks. We really try to, everything that you find in the market, except for maybe the alcohol beverages and wines, really are sourced locally, as we want to make it a truly immersive, authentic Hawaiian experience. And we have the Surf Shack at the end of the Great Lawn. This is between the Great Lawn and the beach. And during the busier times, the past couple of months, we've kind of altered, as I mentioned, the hours, but we will have sunset cocktails with live music here. We are doing it every Friday, I believe, currently, but during festive, it was almost every night. And this is where our Kainali program, our water sports program, sits as well. And we can do private dinners, and this is one of our barefoot dinners on the beach for any special occasions. And here you have another view of our Great Lawn. We have with 3 total pools. One is the main resort pool in the middle, and to the right we have our Kiki pool, and it's an all sanded little pool, so the kids can feel like they're in their own little ocean that's safe for them. And in the back we have our adult pool, and here's another view up close of the adult pool where it's very quiet and serene. So we call the rooms next to this pool our Serenity rooms, if people are looking for more of a quiet experience. And inside our Halaiki, the House of Knowledge, we have Uncle Danny, who to me, it feels like he's the mayor of the Kohala Coast, because he is very well known amongst the locals. He's been there from the beginning, 37 years, and some people have said the resort was built around him because he really is. He brings to life all of the stories, the history that comes from that part of the island. And we are in a very sacred place, being in the center, which we call the Pico, and meaning the belly button of the 5 volcanic mountains. So it's a very special location, and he is very talented, as many other of our employees are. He can teach the guests ukulele, talk story. We have the Ava Parker Woods Cottage, which every once a month during the full moon, we have a twilight event, which before COVID brought like 400 people to the cottage. Right now we're just featuring it on YouTube and Facebook, but it still lives on, just a little different these days. But Uncle Danny will bring in guests that are local, some people that are not as well known, but some others that are very well known, and he makes it a surprise every time, and everyone really loves that ritual. And Uncle Danny also does walking cultural tours, and will take guests through our petroglyphs on site. We have 32 acres at the or we're sitting on 32 acres, so we have a lot of land to be explored. And you can also go through our Kainalu sports program and take an e-bike through all of the petroglyphs. And another thing that's very special at the hotel is we have our Malama Hanu program, and this is our turtle sustainable program, and we save the turtles. We bring them in from different parts of Hawaii, like the different islands as well, and we raise them until they're of the right age to set them free. So it's about like 2 or 3 years, and we have Turtle Independence Day on July 4th for anyone who's wanting to celebrate their day of freedom. And we have our surf shack next to Kainalu again here, and we have amazing water sports that our water men bring to life. They are really one with this destination. The last time I was there last month, they during the sunrise canoe paddle, they were doing their blessing and the chant to watch the sun rise above Mauna Kea. And in the meantime, they were, blowing the conch shell and calling the whales. So we're in prime whale season. So we see a lot of our whale friends out by the resort. And of course, there's stand-up paddle boarding, surfing, snorkeling, you name it, we have it. And except for the manta rays, you have to go to Mauna Kea and visit Libby there. And we have our beautiful, this is the 118-hole golf course. This is our hole 15, which now we're talking about. I think we have a lot of people interested in doing some weddings out here, smaller weddings, because it's absolutely the most stunning sunset view. And we have our tennis garden, which is sitting a little off property. We can take you in our house car here. It's about like a 5-minute drive. And we have our Halo Halo Kids Crew program. And right now it's been altered hours, but I think during ski week, which is February 12th to the 21st, it's running from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And it should pick up consistently at those hours, probably more in spring and summer when the kids are on vacation. And we have our Auberge Spa on the ground level next to Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop. We are one of the only hotels that do have this very unique boutique in the hotel, and we're very lucky for that. And next door to the spa, we have our fitness center. We have a couple Pelotons and indoor-outdoor space. We also have our sports club by our tennis courts that has the weights and cardio machines as well. So there's a lot of space for people to feel comfortable to keep their workout routine. And we have partnered with Vault Health for anyone who's looking for a testing site that is approved by Hawaii government. And they they expedite the shipping. So they will make sure for Hawaii. So they make sure that when there's the pink sticker, they get the results back to you within the 72 hours before your departure. And usually takes only 24 hours. But let me know if you have any questions on that. And that will wrap it up. And I will now pass it on to Deanna from the Visitor Bureau. Thank you very much. Let me just stop sharing.
Okay, mahalo, Heather. I'll share my screen. Let's see. Oops. Hold on one sec. Let me get to the right slide. Okay, aloha, mahalo everyone for just joining us today, and to all the presenters. My name again is Deanna. I'm based in Kona, actually Holualoa. And today we'll take a quick kind of overview on the island, a lot of things that our presenters earlier said and what they love best about their properties, about the island. Here is beautiful Pololu Valley for anyone who has been up here. But again, we're here to talk about the largest, the youngest, right, of all the Hawaiian islands, the island of Hawaii. And this is just a quick mention. Most of the flights that we have right now are coming, of course, from the West Coast. Longest one, the longest long haul flight would be coming out of Denver right now, but you could easily get to us by transitioning through Honolulu, Maui, or those as well. So these currently are our direct flights coming into Kona. Okay. And for us, you know, you hear everybody mentioning outdoors, right? And things have changed and our visitors are looking for something different. We choose one word to describe each of our islands. Every island is so different. For us, we've always chose that word, inspiring. People who come here, they love to explore. They want to learn more about history, culture, education. They want to try new things, and everybody now needs to connect. They need to reconnect as well, right? They want wide open spaces, relax, but they also want to travel responsibly. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit more about that. Our driving map, just to kind of remind you that we are over 4,000 square miles to explore, but you can get around the entire island. A lot of times, I always recommend maybe you want to go ahead and break up your stay. Okay, say one day if you are in Kona or based in Kohala, take one day, go to the Hilo side, go to Volcano, okay? Come back, relax. Maybe the next day head south, but take your time and just kind of grasp and have the chance to visit all sides of the island. That's what we want you to do. We want you to get out and explore the island. You've heard several people say climate-wise, we are diverse, okay? And with that, being diverse in climate also brings diversity in activities as well. So you see here, a lot of people are outdoors, right? Shows you that on any given day, okay? Today you can be up there looking at snow, right? So how unusual, how unique, how special is that? But diverse in activities, okay? We mentioned the mantas. I mentioned doing things that are once in a lifetime activity. That would be one of them, right? Seeing a live volcano is another. But you can get out there, do sports fishing, take hikes. You can be in a rainforest. So the diversity in climate just turns around and it equates to diverse activities as well. So with all of that, you heard everyone mention at their properties, so much to do, a lot of it you can do there. But water adventures, we love our water, right? We love the calm waters. We want to be out there. We want to be with nature. The helicopter tours, okay, right now, they're popular because people want to see what's going on at the volcano. So they want to do that. They want to see sides of the island, do a circle, okay, tour, do waterfalls, places that you can't get to, okay, but that's helicopter tours. Actually are very popular right now, and also land adventures. So whether you love hiking, again, doing ATV rides, maybe up in Paniolo or cowboy country, okay, horseback, ATV rides up there, zip lining, but there's really something for everyone on this island. Okay, we all talked about our beaches, right? So you had beautiful, okay, Kaunaoa Bay, which is big on the right-hand side. Dina talked about Anai Ho'omalu Bay, which is actually the second photo here on the left. Hapuna Beach, down at the bottom, actually at the very top, this is Punalu'u, Black Sand Beach down south, okay? So a lot of people go there. When I'm there, I'm always looking for those turtles out there. So just diversity in beaches, and as Janet said, some people think we don't have white stretch sand beaches, and we certainly do, okay? Beautiful waterfalls, okay? Akaka Falls. Hilo is so lush, okay? People says it rains a lot. I say it's lush, okay? But that's where you get your beautiful waterfalls, your botanical gardens, okay? Rainbow Falls right in the middle. So we want you to see all of that, experience all of that. Okay, we talked about these properties that everyone just went through on the beautiful Kohala Coast, okay? The beaches, the golf, you have history as well, okay? You have the dining, you have great restaurants. So great options for you up at the Kohala Coast. And then Kona Coast, okay, closer to where I live, but you could easily, it's a very walkable town, okay? And although, you know, many of the shops and dining areas are open, but we really just kind of keep an eye out, you know, because they may have just adjusted their hours a little bit, okay? So with that, you know, check in anything that you do or want to do, you might want to check in advance. But Pleasant offers a lot of these land activities, the water activities, the air activities as well. So with anything like that, we're always going to recommend that everyone just kind of check as far as what days. So they maybe have slowly kind of made their way back, but they may be doing that not 7 days a week. They may be on for 5 days a week. So everyone's in that adjustment period, okay? But it does feel, someone asked me earlier, is everything open? You know, yes, the hotels are open. People are walking through town. Everyone's practicing, okay, with the social distancing, wearing masks, okay? So they're out there. So a lot of people do, again, like to be outdoor. And again, Diener's hometown. But we always talk about Hilo. Really take the time, again, to visit each side, each district of the island, because it is so unique, something different. With Hilo, it is like stepping back in time. That's why I love it. I just like to walk through downtown, see the waterfalls, Rainbow Falls out there. You see the Kamehameha statue on the bottom left, but also Hilo is the second largest city next to Honolulu, but it's also known as the gateway to Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. Okay, which brings us to this. So our number one attraction, of course, is our volcano, but just a quick mention that there are 8 national parks in the entire state of Hawaii, and we're very proud to say that 5 of them are located on our island. So we're really big on sharing that with our guests. You know, take the time, visit the national parks, talk to the rangers, okay, absorb that history. But a lot of people love that education value. So visit the national parks. And then, of course, Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. We all know in 2018, you know, it came, we did have that flow and it made the news. And most recently it had stopped, but now we do see the glow again. So we're really happy about that. You know, I'm excited about that. I think when we heard that the volcano is erupting again, so right now it's not spewing up into the air, but you can definitely see that glow. It's open 24 hours a day. I've been there early morning. I've been there late night where I can see the stars at night. Early morning where I can see the sunrise or the colors with that. But again, it's open 24 hours a day. It's our number one attraction. And it has a whole new story to tell. So if you've not been there for a while and you remember how it was, get up there and you'll see the changes, okay? Since the eruption back then, you'll see the new land that's out there. But again, we're excited because it's a new chapter and the rangers love to explain what happened. And the great thing about it is people are very, very curious and they want to learn, okay? So take the time, talk to the rangers, always stop at the visitor center first. They're going to tell you which area to go to. If you say, I only have 3 hours, what should I do? They're going to tell you where to go. You can see these photos here, but again, even there today, we are practicing the social distancing, the masks, so forth. Okay. And again, the beautiful glow is something that I had missed for a few years, and thankfully, I love to see it back. Okay. With that too, I really just want to make mention. So to get into the park, $30 for a private non-commercial vehicle. That's good for a 7-day entry. However, you can also take land adventures, and through Pleasant as well, there are guided tours if you do not want to go by yourself. But if you do consider and love national parks throughout, okay, I encourage you to just look into some of these passes that include Hawaii Volcanoes National Park, include Haleakala on Maui, include others. So for $80 a year, so on the bottom, you can see an annual pass for seniors, a lifetime pass. So you can't beat that, but so many more opportunities to visit for volunteers, veterans, kids. So such a great program, and we love to share Hawaii Volcanoes National Park and all our parks, okay, with all of our guests. One thing great about us here too, with all the diverse climates, if it can be grown or ranch, we're probably already doing it here, right? So I'm surrounded here by coffee farms where I live, but you can see, okay, vanilla, of course, papaya, we have a mushroom farm, cacao, more chocolate farms are coming up. But with that, we're gonna say, check out the farmers markets, okay, around town, up in Waimea, up in Hilo. At times, they're at some of the shopping centers, pop-up markets, but we want to support our farmers, our agriculture, our farm to table, our chefs. So help us support our agriculture that way. Okay. And one other thing is with COVID and with coming back, and people are wanting to give back. And a lot of the programs here with our island partners, activity partners, hotel partners, with our volunteer organizations, welcoming guests, welcoming locals ourselves to participate more in many of the programs. So this is just an example, Friends of Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. You might help them plant trees, so reforestation, you might help them clean up. And again, that's just one program, and many of our hotels also have incorporated the Malama program and are also trying to put together programs that in a sense will have visitors kind of connect and help give back as well. And they love that, okay? And just to kind of review really quick, and I'm always going to point to this website, top left, hawaiicovid19.com. That's your go-to, okay? So right now, mandatory statewide 10-day quarantine is in place. For anybody who wants or gets the 72-hour pre-test, you got to make sure it's from one of the testing and travel partners. You have to click the link on there, and it'll tell you exactly how to set up your appointment and which location, okay? County rules differ, okay? Kauai has different rules. For the island of Hawaii, the county of Hawaii, when someone lands here, trans-Pacific, coming from the mainland, or international, there is secondary testing in place. And we're testing about 25 to 100% at all of our airports. The test is free, and that's something that we have done for a long time now. Okay, so it's a quick, while you're coming out, waiting to get your luggage, you'll take the test first, and it's about 15, 20 minutes there, and then head over to get your luggage after that. Currently, you can travel inter-county, so within the Hawaiian Islands, okay? However, Oahu is an exception. They do not have a travel restriction in place right now for inter-island travel. So if someone came straight to Kona, say, and took their 72-hour pre-test, got a negative, and are all set on that, and then wanted to go to Oahu for a few days, there would not be an additional test, and that only applies to Oahu. But if they did want to go to, say, Maui, another 72-hour test would be required to bypass the quarantine again. So hawaiicovid19.com, you just need to keep updated to see if anything changes. On the right-hand side, just really quick, everyone needs to set up their own Safe Travels accounts. Minors are included in the adult profiles. 72 hours testing. It applies to your final departure flight into the state of Hawaii. So if someone's coming, say, from Denver to San Francisco to Kona, they're going to base their testing time on the portion that brings them into the state, and that would be San Francisco to Kona. Everyone needs to upload those negative results into their Safe Travels profile before they head on the plane, fill out their questionnaire, health questionnaire, 24 hours before their trip, and they receive a QR code, and that's what our screeners here are looking for. So our National Guard here is at the Kona Airport and the other airports, looking for the QR codes, looking to see that your negative results were uploaded. But that currently is what is going on here. But again, referring you back to hawaiicovid19.com for any changes or even just to keep yourself updated. And there are resources if you need help or have questions as well. Okay. And that is it for now. And I can go ahead and turn it back over. Okay, mahalo everyone, aloha.
Thank you, Deanna. That was a very, very nice way to finish off all the fabulous speakers tonight. So first thing I want to do is thank all of the speakers for talking about their specific properties or their company, and of course, Deanna with you and how things work on the island. They do have a couple of questions. Actually, most of them will be for you, Deanna, but feel free, anybody else, to chime in on if you have an answer as well. On the COVID protocols, now that people are starting to get shots, will that be able to take place and in place of, I should say, of the testing? If they've had both their shots and they have it for 2 weeks now, and they can prove that they've had the shots, do they still get to bypass? Can they bypass just with that?
Yeah, the vaccination currently with the governor's proclamation is not an exemption right now. So it's not to say that down the line there may be changes, but currently with the current proclamation, vaccinations do not step in and release you of the mandatory 10-day quarantine.
Okay, perfect. And you had mentioned that, obviously, and everybody else mentioned how big the island is and that we want to get out and explore the complete island. Do you suggest, and you had said that, take a day trip here or there, should they actually spend time on both sides of the islands in a couple of nights, or can they just base themselves on one of these beautiful properties we saw tonight and take day trips?
Certainly, I actually always try and tell, in order to really immerse yourself, to experience the entire island, I do encourage it. So they're most welcome to go ahead and be based in one particular area. But it would be beneficial too if they spent a couple of nights and just exploring Hilo, because you can do it more leisurely. You can drive up north, you can stop at the waterfalls, you can be in Hilo, relax, okay? Discover Hilo, maybe the next morning at least, make your way to the volcano. Okay, it's not like if you were to take a land adventure, say a Circle Island, if you were to be based at, say, one property and you decided you wanted to do a Circle Island, you can leave at 7 in the morning. You're probably not going to be coming back till about 8:30 at night. Okay, so I always tell everybody, if they can, it's just much more leisurely pace. You want to stop at Tex Drive-In, okay? You want to sample the malasadas, you want to sample the sweetbread, you want to do it at a pace, and you don't want to feel rushed. So for that reason, I think, and that's one of the things, we do have a high return factor as well, because people didn't give themselves enough time. And so our return factor is high because they say that they didn't realize how large the island was. They didn't get to do everything they wanted to do. And currently our length of stay pre-COVID was about 8 days. So they really tried to plan it out that way. And Dina, you can jump in.
I was going to jump in. Yeah, I mean, I'm with Deanna. I would
Oh.
try and break up your trip a little bit. And like she said, you know, Hilo and that side of the island has a lot to offer. If you base yourself in Hilo for a few nights, your drive into Volcano National Park is only about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And you have to remember too, right? We're not like the mainland with freeways. A lot of these roads are going to be 2-lane highways, one way in, one way out. So traffic can slow you down a little bit. We don't have a lot of lights, you know, guiding you on the way back. So it just makes more sense instead of rushing yourself through some of the most beautiful spots on that island to really just give yourself a couple of days in Hilo. And I think a lot of people overlook the small town of Hilo because we're not known for our beaches. I'm going to be honest about it. We're not. We have them, but we're not like the Kohala Coast. But what Hilo and the surrounding areas have to offer is old Hawaii. So you really are, like Deanna said, step back in a time capsule and you're like, this is really what Hawaii was like pre all these big resorts and all of that. So I really do think you're doing yourself a misjustice if you don't spend some time.
Yeah. And you know, Jim, you could always on the website gohawaii.com, if you were to choose any area on the what to do in these areas, you're going to see a whole list come out of things to do. You know, so you want to kind of look into that and maybe, you know, discover here and there and maybe visit this heiau or temple, you know, or see this petroglyph area. But there's a lot to do. So, but yeah, so I always recommend that.
Okay, and then if somebody, for whatever reason, decides not to do both sides of the island, and obviously you had mentioned that Hilo is a lot closer to the Volcano National Park, and it seems to be obviously one of the main attractions on the island. So this is for any of you, for Diener, Libby, or Heather, do you have a tour out of your particular property that can take them up to the volcano for a half day or a day or something of that nature, or are they on their own by just renting a car?
It's twofold. You obviously can rent a car, and most people, besides going to Oahu and Waikiki, most people who come to the sister islands, Kauai, Maui, and Hawaii Island, most often have cars. So usually they are good enough to venture off. But through Pleasant Holidays, you can book excursions through Travel Wizards. And you can set that up ahead of time. Dominique and the entire team can help you do that. But there are some great tours and tour companies that offer some, you know, very unique experiences. One is stargazing atop Mauna Kea. So if you were to do that, obviously you have to bring some winter clothes because it is a snow-capped mountain right now. But there's some other things that you can do that can definitely be guided or self-guided. And maybe Deanna can, you know, chime in as well. But, you know, definitely it's whatever your comfort level you have.
Yeah, you know, and I would say you check with the individual company, like, you know, if you're going through Pleasant, because there are options. You can meet them at the office, say just drive to where they're located, say in Kona, leave your car there, or they do pickups as well. But, you know, with COVID, just kind of check it out and see where the pickup areas are. It might be at your property. It might be at the shopping center right close to your property, or a meeting place as well. So there is options, definitely.
Okay, and then the last question that I have, unless somebody else wants to put something else into the chat, I'll give you one last minute here for that, is, are there any capacity restrictions at the hotels at this time? We've done some of these with some Mexican resorts, which are limiting capacity as far as the number of rooms that they can have occupied. Is there anything like that in the state of Hawaii or at your particular properties here? Any of you?
Well, I think with the partners that I work with, say various hotels and so forth, you know, I think Heather had mentioned that they have 333 rooms, but right now maybe 100 are in inventory. So I think all of our partners look at that, and you know, I think the thing about with COVID is a lot of hotels took the opportunity during that time to do renovations as well. So with the big thing that drives the hotel, I think, inventory is the amount of flights that come in also. So, you know, if they're not going to open, if they choose to, okay, let's go ahead and leave this tower, say soft, and concentrate on this tower, they have that ability. But I think each hotel kind of determines the capability of what they want to do and what they can do. But it's not like the state has a big regulation of if you are this many to this many hotel rooms, you know, this is your max. So,
And the reality of it too is, you know, we're not running at the occupancies we normally would during this time of season. Right now, we should be in the high 80s, 90s, because this is prime time for the snowbirds to come and leave the cold. But because of COVID, because of people's uneasiness still, and just everything in general, we're running at very low occupancy. So yes, there is no state regulated capacity control, but on the norm, we're running at very low occupancy levels, around 20% occupancy levels. So that is extremely low.
Yeah, and I think our hotel partners have had this time, and I think opening slowly but carefully and safely for employees and for our guests as well. So they kind of mandate, but they're not. But you know, in just speaking with many of them, very responsible. You know, in what how strategic they are.
Well, thank you very much for those answers. I don't see anything else in the chat box, so I want to take this one last minute to thank Janet and Libby and Diener and Deanna and Heather for being our guest speakers tonight. Thank you very much. Once again, you were very, very good and excellent, in fact, and hopefully maybe we can get some of you back on some other islands that maybe if you have particular properties when we do those islands as well. Next week, folks, we have G Adventures, same channel, same time, 4:30 on Wednesday the 17th, and we hope to see you then. So until then, thank you and good night from Wizards World.
Thank you, everyone. Mahalo.